Yeah, back up in this bitch once again. You already know.
Yo,
Fine. G, let me find a stream real quick. Turn this shit down so they don't come in banging. Shit, I don't even know how to turn that shit off.
what's that?
They just let it. They just. I just got a notification that said that we're going live on my other device. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't even, let me try to see if I can turn that shit off so they don't be doing that shit during the live stream. I don't even
Have
know how to
no
work
type
this
in
my
the
phone.
building. Salute, bro.
What's up with it? What's going down?
You going to share this shit while you looking for the thing.
Shit, I guess this motherfucker just gonna have to be like this, man. I don't even know how to turn this shit off. My boy Joseph Brown in the building. All rise for the honorable Judge Joe Brown. What's up, bro? Salute.
Salute, bro.
Say salute to the corner. What's going down? Just about to top it up about boxing a little bit, man. The fights that's been taking place and a few fights that's coming down the pipeline. Had some pretty good fights this weekend and shit. I ain't get a chance to see the AJ fight. We were just talking about that. I had seen I seen some off that card. I didn't watch that fight, and I didn't watch that Derek Chisora fight, but I seen a fight on there though. Which one did I watch? Shit, my motherfucking mind went blank. Miss
Did you watch
Let's in the building.
Salute, sis? Did you watch the Navarrete fight?
Yeah, I watched that shit with Hyphy. I think Yasa might have been up in there for a minute, but I watched this shit with Hyphy.
Joseph Brown was good, bro.
Appletite said this Wilder AJ thing real. I feel like it's the okey doke again. I feel like it's real. I mean, what they gonna save AJ for? You know what I'm saying? Shit, that motherfucker need to be in a big fight. It looked like they might can get Wilder coming off a layoff. When the last time Wilder fought? That's when he fought Hellenius, right? Shit, they might be getting Wilder at the right time, coming off a layoff. You know these fighters been getting their ass kicked coming off layoffs, man. But let me say though, this past week on the Champ Ross, we had a fighter coming off the layoff. It was in that very first fight. I can't even remember what the fuck their name was. It was a white dude against a Mexican. And I said, man, let me go ahead and fade this dude coming off a layoff, and went out there and took a L on that shit. Yeah, I can't win for losing, man. I keep on beating myself. I took Earl Spence coming off a layoff. I took Cool Boy Steph coming off a layoff. Lost both of them. So then when I finally fade the layoff, I lose that motherfucker. I'm like, God damn. Yeah, doing bad on the Champ Ross to start off, man. I'm in 18th place. I got to make a move. Appletite said Hellenius, yes. AJ has fought more active. Still think Wilder beats him, but that is something to consider. Yeah, it's something to consider. That dude coming off a layoff like that, man. I'm telling you, them fighters coming off layoffs, overall, they've been losing. Spirit of Justice, what's up with it? So you picked Navarrete here? Yeah, we picked Navarrete. Me and Marlo picked Navarrete. Picked him on the Champ Ross. That's one thing I learned from this motherfucker one time. L Dub. Taking the fighter the hotter fighter. Normally I like to go with the guy with the deeper amateur background and shit, but Navarrete just hot to me. And one thing about him too, when I look at him, he looked like a future legendary type of fighter. I'm not saying he got the best skills. I'm not saying none of that. But I'm just saying he got the look of a legendary fighter to me. So I just said, fuck it, I'm taking Navarrete. We're gonna let the chips fall where they may. Hey, what you take Navarrete for in that fight, bro?
Which is like, what you mean by what I picked him by or my reasons?
Your reasons.
Oh yeah, shit. I thought he was the hotter fighter myself, but I thought he was the most aggressive. Either way it go, whatever Valdez was gonna bring, I thought Navarrete was gonna double that shit and take more risk than Oscar. So I was like, man, I'd rather go with Navarrete. I think Navarrete overwhelming style probably gonna give him trouble, and it really did.
Yeah, at first I was thinking Oscar Valdez. I was like, man, it might be a fight that's similar to his fight with Burchell. Because Burchell throw a lot of punches, he throw a lot of combinations like Navarrete, but he ain't got them long arms like Navarrete. And Navarrete a lot more awkward than Miguel Burchell. So I said, man, let me go ahead and ride with this 6-inch reach advantage. This motherfucker throw 100 punches around. As a matter of fact, he had a round this past weekend where he threw 128 punches in one round. I said, man, let me go with this work rate. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we went on ahead and locked in on that one.
Hey, and that work rate is a motherfucker too.
Yeah, but I think they might be going too far because there's some people talking about he'll go out there and beat Shakur Stevenson and Shakur don't want no smoke and all this kind of shit. Shakur ain't no motherfucking Oscar Valdez. You know what I'm saying? That's a different story. Who you got in that fight if he fight Shakur?
I'm definitely taking Shakur. I mean, it's ways you can stop that. You can stop that aggression. You know what I'm saying? And good, clean, effective counter punching is one. And Shakur definitely got that. I know his reach advantage is probably gonna be a little bit difficult to start because Shakur gonna have to find his range in that motherfucker, and that's gonna give Navarrete some room to work. But I think Shakur defense and counter punching is gonna be a bigger factor in here. Spirit of Justice, salute, fam. KP, salute.
Yeah, how you say between the layoff and PBC fighters not doing well in cross promotion, I believe Deontay is right for the pick. Yeah, I might have to lock in with you on that, man. I gotta say, shit, you were right about that. It seemed like every single time a PBC fighter fight a cross promotional fight, they go out there and lose. Shit, what PBC fighter then fought somebody outside of PBC and won? Shit, I can't think of now. Can y'all think of one? Shit, I can't think of now, man. Every time motherfuckers fight outside of PBC, they lose.
Shit, when I think of him, I think of Wilder and Fury, and that's a
Yeah.
loss right there.
Yeah, that's a loss. The first one was a draw. So, you know what I'm saying? But the second and the third one was a loss. Yeah, them motherfucker be losing when they be fighting on cross promotion fights. That motherfucker Hyphy said that shit a while ago. I got to give him credit on that. Haplotypes, I like Navarrete coming up better than Benavidez starving himself as a fighter in general. Yeah, that shit might catch up to him sooner or later. He do look like a fighter that could fight at 175 or something like that. But yeah, Navarrete, man, ain't no joke. Motherfucker throwing out the punches, that's a nightmare. When you off in the ring with a dude that got the size advantage and he got the reach advantage and the motherfucker got a high work rate. Shit, I remember when he go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, let's not forget that Earl versus Brook was a cross promotion, and Earl beat him.
Okay. Shit, we gotta go back in the day for that one, huh, man?
Hell yeah, that's why I had to think. I had to think about it. That Wilder would make me think. Who else?
Shit, goddamn, how long ago was that? Back in 2016 or something?
Yep, somewhere around there, 16, 15.
Yeah, them motherfuckers. That ain't a good batting average right there.
That's 2017 when he fought Kell Brook.
Shit, that's still over half a decade ago, man. That's 6 years ago. Yeah, that ain't a good batting average right there. Spirit of Justice, I knew after he whooped Dogbo ass twice. I ain't gonna even cap, man. I took Dogbo in the first fight when he fought Navarrete. I had looked at him on tape a little bit. I said, man, this motherfucker Navarrete, man, this shit look raggedy. And I was looking at Dogbo. Dogbo, he got more like a more fundamental type of style and shit. So we got a partner that used to fuck with his name Roughhouse. He was like, man, I don't know, Trey. This dude Navarrete look like an octopus out here. He throwing all these punches from all these different angles and shit, man. I got Navarrete. And he went out there and served all this crow on that shit. Cause we were kind of high off Dog Bay after he went out there and beat who that motherfucker beat? I think he beat that dude that was like 120 and 20 as an amateur. He come from a fighting family. They was knocking each other down in the fight and shit. I can't think of that Mexican dude name, man. I think that's the same one that got knocked out by Teofimo Lopez. I might be tripping though. What's the name of that motherfucker the Dog Bay beat when he first came on the scene and shook up the world on us?
Shit, I can't think his name. Social scientist made a point, and he lost though, but he did upset Joshua. cross promotion.
Yeah, I done got stuck trying to think of that dude name, man. Ah, damn, I can't think of that Mexican dude name that Navarrete, I mean, the dog Bay beat. It was a real good fight, man. They was knocking each other down in the fight. I think the dude is a southpaw.
Winston Lee, salute, bro. What's happening?
Winston Lee in the building. What's up with it? What's going down? Haplotypes. I picked Valdez. Thought his better fundamentals would work against an aqua guy who gives up his advantages, but I forgot Valdez like to block punches with his face. All right, well, shit, go ahead and eat that crow then. We got some of that leftover crow for you. It's all good.
Hey,
KP from
there goes
KC.
Magdaleno.
Yeah, the Magdaleno kid, man. I was thinking that motherfucker come from a fighting family. I just couldn't think of his name. But yeah, that was a hell of a fight. So after Dalbay beat him, I was like, man, this Dalbay dude got something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and ride with him over Navarrete, and they crow like a motherfucker. To this day, that's one of the best picks that's been made on this channel, because didn't nobody know nothing about Navarrete. Roughhouse went out there and looked at the film. He made a good pick, an excellent pick.
Family of 6 Rock, salute, fam. Appreciate you. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, that's Armin Brown partner. Appreciate you coming through. KP from KC salutes. He says Shakur will go to prison for fighting Navarrete. He'll beat the brakes off of him, huh, man? Yeah, I like to think that too. I think he would, but at the same time, we have seen Shakur have a little bit of problem with a guy that has some length and shit, man. That's the dude that knocked out Miguel Burchell. What's that African name? Joseph Brown that knocked out Miguel Burchell.
I thought that was Nakatila.
Nakatila, yeah, Jeremiah Nakatila. So yeah, we have seen him have a little bit of problems, even though he pretty much won every round in the fight. But that wasn't one of his best fights. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like that length gave him a little bit of problems. Because one thing I will say about Shakur, like if you look at him and compare him to a lot of the other great fighters, they have very long arms. And Shakur don't really have them long arms like that. He got like a 69-inch reach and he like 5'8" or something like that. He might even have like a 68-inch reach. He ain't like Crawford. Crawford 5'8" with a 74-inch reach. You know what I'm saying? So it seemed like them long ass arms kind of gave him problems a little bit. But overall, I think he'll go out there and figure out Navarrete and shit. He might have a chance to stop him late.
Gil Cole, salute, bro. Armin Brown, salute, sis.
Gil Cole's in the building. What's up to my Amazon angel, Miss Armin Brown, in the building? I hope she heard me that time. Sometimes she don't hear me when I be saying it. You know what I'm saying? Hyphy said Emmanuel trains in 7,000 plus elevation, and it showed last Saturday in the late round. That's one thing about him, though. He got one of the best gas tanks in boxing, man. I ain't never really just seen him get tired. He come down the stretch. He in the championship rounds throwing over 100 punches a round. Hell, that round where he threw 128 punches, I think that was like the 9th or the 10th round right there. Yeah, that motherfucker come in great shape, man, all day long.
Hey, Trey, that's. Oh, I'm sorry.
Salute, fam. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the amazing part about Navarrete, man. Like he'll have moments in the round where he's not throwing as many punches, and then all of a sudden the last 30, 45 seconds of the round he just turned it up on you.
Yeah. And it ain't like he throwing 1 or 2 punches at a time. That motherfucker throwing combination. Shit, I mean, I know it look raggedy, but he one of the best combination punches in the game.
You know we ain't talked about that yet. We just chopping it up. Charles D, salute, bro.
Salute. The Kane in the building. Let me scroll down, son. Where was I in the chat? Haplotype said good. Okay, talking to Hyphy. The Kane said Andy Ruiz is about the only one when he upset Joshua. Oh, yeah, that was a good one right there. I forgot about that shit. That's a great example of a PBC fighter going outside in a cross promotion fight and beating another fighter when he got that upset and shit. But he didn't keep it going though. That motherfucker went out there and ate like a motherfucker, ate everything in the refrigerator, ate every buffet he could find, and went out there and lost the goddamn rematch royally. It didn't even look like he was even much of a challenge in the rematch. But that first time he did go out there and stop him. So yeah, that's a good example right there. Happy Tyson. I think Rick knows a lot. He admits his bias, but he does have some valuable insights. I don't know what Ricky talking about. He talking about that Glazer motherfucker or something?
Yeah, I think he's talking about Rick Laser.
Yeah, I don't even know nothing about it, man. I ain't gonna even lie to you. KP from KC, I ain't seen Rough House Boxing TV in a while. I remember, bro. Yeah, we ain't seen him in a while, man. He'll send a message every now and then on that. What's the name of that shit we on, Marlo? Where you be sending me the link?
Google Chat.
Yeah, he'll send a message to something on there every now and then. We thought he was gonna come through and call the fight with us, the Crawford versus Spence fight. He didn't come through though. I think my boy El Fenici said that he watched the fight with his daughter or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But salute to Rough House. That's our nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He just gonna
I think he's spending time with his fam. You know, he just came back from overseas or whatnot.
that motherfucker been back since like last October or some shit. That motherfucker been back.
Yeah, and he came and hang out with us though. He probably spending time with his family.
Yeah. I think he said he got him a new little love life and shit too. You know what I'm saying? So he probably
Oh yeah, I think he said he about to get married or something.
yeah. I see the Jesse Magdaleno, Miss Family is sick. Ross say hello, everyone stopping by to show some love and worth listening. Definitely appreciate that. I see my boy Gil Cole. Hype, said I was not impressed with Adolfo Delgado performance on the ESPN undercard. He looks like he won't get past contender status. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I did take him by knockout and stuff. He was going against a guy that's been stopped before in like 5 rounds or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I can't be too mad at him because that fight that he fought that tall, young Mexican dude, and they had him as the underdog. They had the other guy at minus 300, and they had Delgado at plus 220, and he went out there and won some money for us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and cut him some slack. But I was disappointed that he didn't go out there and stop this guy this past weekend. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he got the amateur background and shit that I like. He was a Central American and Caribbean Games gold medalist. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna cut him some slack. I'm gonna let him continue to grow and get better. He over there with Robert Garcia. That's a good GM, a good coach. Got all kind of good sparring and stuff off in there. I think he got some room to grow and get better. Ms. Armour Brown, my Amazon angel, say, what's up, fellas? Trey X, Brother Marlowe's Corner, Joseph Brown, chatting the Maz. Blessings. Ms. Let's say, did y'all talk about the scheduled fights? Andre versus Benavidez and Haney versus Regis Prograis. No, we haven't talked about that. Andre versus Benavidez, and I hate to say it, man. I think I got to go with Benavidez, though. I mean, like I was saying earlier, like when Navarrete, when he fought against Oscar Valdez, I felt like Navarrete was the hotter fighter. I feel that way about Benavidez. I think he been more active. I think he the hotter fighter. Andre, he is 14 pounds past his prime weight, which was 154 pounds. And plus the man hasn't been active at all. I mean, when was his last fight? I think it was against Demond Nicholson. And that shit was like a year ago or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love the amateur background, over 300 amateur fights. The motherfucker won a gold at the AIBA World Championships and stuff. I've been holding it down for Andre for a long time on YouTube, but I just think this is not a good spot for him. I won't be surprised if he gets stopped. I think he'll go out there and look good early, but I think them combinations from Benavidez and that pressure, I think that shit gonna wear him down. What about you, bro?
Eric Carr, salute. Ride extra trail. Salute, bro. What's happening? Shit. Hey, I'm feeling, even though y'all gonna probably be serving me crow if it happens, but I'm gonna pick Andre. But I think it's gonna be a problem, man. It's competition. Even though motherfucker said the same thing about a Boo Boo, but this is a whole different beast right here. This motherfucking weight class ain't no joke. And a motherfucker like Benavidez, you're gonna have to be sharp defensively, offensively. He ain't got the length, so he have to take punches here and there. I think that's gonna be tough for Boo Boo, man. I probably think that Benavidez will stop him, man. But I'm be rooting for Boo Boo, man. I'm gonna hope he come in A1.
What about you, Dr. Brown?
When's the last time Benavidez fought?
That's when he fought Caleb Plant.
When was that? March?
Shit, I can't remember exactly when it was, but he definitely done had a fight since Andre done fought Demond Nicholson, though. I heard some crazy background shit. But yeah, man, I think that might be a bad spot for you, bro. I mean, I know you're a grown man. You pick who you want to pick. But damn, man, like we got a guy that started at 168 and he can move up to 175 and beyond even. And we got somebody that started at 154 that moved up to 168 and he coming off a long layoff. Hell, by the time that he fight Benavidez, it's gonna be like 13, 14 months. It might even be 15 months.
No,
Like, bro,
Andre fought in January of this year, so that's the last time he fought.
okay, when they gonna fight?
They're expecting them to fight in November. They've been talking about November-ish timeline for those two to fight. So that'll be about good 9 months. He's been out of the ring.
It'd be about 10 months, and the motherfucker done had one fight to acclimate to this weight class.
It would
Right?
have been idea. It would have been idea for him to get another fight in.
So who you got?
As of right now, it's stacked against Boo Boo to lose this fight. Uh, he's not getting a favorable time frame to fight a guy like Benavidez. I would have liked to see him at least get another fight in, be more active. If he would have got a fight in, like say July, I'd have been more hopeful for him to get a win. But as it stands right now, I don't know. I don't know. It's looking unlikely like he's going to be able to pull it off against Benavidez. Like he may
Yeah,
do well. He may do well early, but he might fade late. And we've seen how he is. The later the fights go, he tends to make more mistakes. And Benavidez is a guy you don't want to be making no mistakes down the stretch because he gets better. The longer the fight goes, he starts to get better down the stretch. So
I agree with you on that.
And he throw a lot of punches. That's gonna be the problem. If you ain't defensively sharp and you ain't offensively sharp, because you're gonna have to make this motherfucker pay. You're gonna have to make this motherfucker respect you. So everything gonna have to work for Boo in this fight.
And then at the same time, I think boxing wants Benavidez to win. Like it's some big fights for Benavidez down the line that we can see for him. I think if it's some close rounds, they're gonna go to Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's just too much stacked against Andre, man. I gotta go with Benavidez. I hate to do it. I want Andre to win the fight, but I gotta go with Benavidez and that shit all day long. So then we got Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. Devin Haney, I think that's a tough task going up in weight and fighting against Prograis in your first fight. I mean, Prograis ain't no punk. I know a lot of people didn't think he looked the best against Danielito Zorrilla, who was a 4.5 on the scale, by the way. I knew that going in. That's why I took Regis Prograis by decision. A lot of people took him by knockout, but I knew better. Zorrilla ain't no punk. He went out there and fought that what's the name of that dude that's been calling out Teofimo Lopez, man? He like 28 and 10 or some shit like that. Shit, I can't think of his name. I can't think of nobody's name ever. But he a very good fighter though, the Mexican that I'm talking about. But he went out there and beat Zorrilla by decision. So I knew Zorrilla wasn't no punk. But Prograis had some problems cutting the ring off on him and stuff like that. So I guess you got to take Devin Haney to go out there and move and groove and try to box him on the outside. But I don't think that's no guaranteed conclusion to this fight. I think that Regis Prograis got a damn good chance of winning this fight. You know what I'm saying? But I take Devin Haney by decision though. What about you, bro?
Yeah, I like Devin Haney in this fight. I think Devin Haney's style is like a perfect style for a motherfucker like Prograis. Prograis is gonna try to come in and work his way in through the body. He ain't very active as Haney is with the jab. You know what I'm saying? Later down the stretch though, when Haney slow down, as we've seen in a lot of his fights, especially against Loma and against old boy, what's his name? The Hispanic dude that rocked his snot box before he walked back to the corner.
Oh, you talking about
Linares, right?
yeah, Lenore.
Yeah, like slowing down can be dangerous versus Prograis though. Prograis got decent power in both hands, so that's gonna be where the fight gonna be for Prograis. Haney can keep Prograis off from the score from the outside, control the ring. I think he can get a unanimous majority type decision. Prograis is gonna end up looking for a stoppage because he's gonna be down on the cards too much if he don't try to step it up from round one on. Yeah, I favor Haney over Prograis.
Let me ask you this question real quick. Have we ever seen Devin Haney go out there and box like a perfect fight on the outside, where he just boxed a pure boxing style and just outpointed the dude all night. Have we seen that?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that, man. He do like to step to you and put some shots on you. He ain't like a pure boxer, like a straight cutie. Not even like when Mayweather fought against Corrales, that was like the perfect fight, fighting on the outside and shit. I ain't seen that from Devin Haney. So I think it's gonna be some spots where Prograis could potentially draw him into a fight. And if he draw him into a fight, I think he can land some punches. And if he lands some punches, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? But who you got in the fight, Joseph Brown?
See, you pointed out some things that I was looking at also in terms of Devin Haney. Yes, he's got a jab. He's got a decent jab to keep Regis at bay with it. But at the same time, he likes to fight in that mid-range area. He likes to fight in the area in which Regis likes to fight in. And we've seen, you know, when he's fighting in that area, he's going to have to be on point because unlike taking shots from Loma, if he takes some kind of shots from Regis Prograis, we all know the outcome of that. It's not going to be a good one. Um, I just don't think he could be able to box on the outside for 12 rounds like that on the back foot against Regis Prograis. I don't think he has the ability to do that for 12 rounds. Could he do it, in spots? Yeah, he can do it in spots. Can he do it? He's going to have to use angles a lot more. He can't just stand right in front of him and try to evade shots from Prograis because that's not going to be ideal for him either. Um, so he's in a bind in terms of the way he fights. He's going to have to be real defensively responsible. He's going to be able to have to let his jab be the lead, take the lead with this fight. He's going to have to work behind that jab, and he can't get into a situation where he's trying to match fire with fire. So he's going to have to be real smart about what he's doing because this is a very dangerous fight for him. But I'm leaning towards Prograis, but it wouldn't shock me if the fight was a close decision for Devin Haney if it goes to the cards.
All right, all right.
Hey, peep this though. I heard Regan say some shit that's kind of crazy, which lined up with what Joe Brown just saying. Like they might be nervous themselves. They already signed the contract, and now they trying to move the date. And Regan's is like, I ain't having that, bro. Like I ain't trying to move no dates. Dates what it is what it is. And I don't know what they got going on over there, man. So they try some funny shit. It ain't coming from Regan's. And I was like, man, what they trying to move the date for? You know what I'm saying? Did y'all hear anything about that?
Yeah, they trying to move today because they don't want to clash with Tyson Fury versus Ngannou.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's why Devin Haney like, man, this motherfucker talking about he know boxing business, and he don't see why we want to move today. Nigga, we don't want to clash with Tyson Fury versus Ngannou. And that makes perfect sense. And then at the same time, I heard that they was talking about moving the fight back, not moving it up. So that takes away what Prograis was talking about. Man, they don't want to give me enough time to train. Nigga, you gonna get more time to train. They pushing the fight back, not moving it up. So yeah, that shit that he went on, that little rant shit, that it don't even make sense when you look at everything in context.
yeah, that's why I wanted to ask y'all when he brought that up. I was like, man, is these motherfuckers shook or something? Like, what the fuck? I ain't heard this shit, but shit,
It
it makes
sound.
sense. You know, though, it makes sense that they trying
I
to get
just
all the money they can get off that fight.
I just wish boxers would stop jumping to social media to try and plead the case to the fans. It's like when you break down all the facts of the whole situation, it makes perfect sense. It's like they're not big enough names to clash with Fury and Ngannou.
All right, let me jump in the chat. Salute to Jesse Aguilar. That's a champion right there. It looked like he got action at getting himself a second championship this season. So good luck to you coming down the stretch, my brother. Ms. Lex say, I stepped away. Don't know what I missed. You ain't missed shit. We just talking boxing. Ms. Alma Brown says she heard me. That's my Amazon angel. Charles D in the building. Salute to you. Eric R in the building. Big salute to you. Rod X the champ in the building was going down. Eric R said, we got an all-star panel. Shit, any panel I'm on is an all-star panel, nigga. You know that. Ms. Lex say, wow, that was a mouthful, Trey. You meant that. I don't even know what you're talking about, lady. Charles D said, for Andre, this shit or get off the pot time for him.
I think she talking about your take on Boo Boo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be tough for him, man. I hate that shit, but you know it is what it is. And Ricard said, yeah, Andrade ain't don't be active. Right? It's a champ said, fuck it, I'm gonna pick Andrade. All right, you gonna lock in with you, bro. You got Ride It's a champ riding shotgun with you. Charles D said Andrade went to PBC to get these fights. Time to prove himself. That's a tough motherfucker to prove yourself against, though. Shit, Benavidez got action and beating the best of them. Square business. Shit, who is gonna be a big favorite over Benavidez? Shit, I can't think of nobody at no 168 that's gonna be a big favorite over Benavidez. Hell, he'll probably go out there and whoop Canelo. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but shit, man. Styles make fights. Let Canelo stand in front of him with that high guard head movement shit and watch Benavidez loop them shots around the guard on his ass. And we all know that Canelo gasses in fights coming down the stretch. Benavidez gets strong coming down the stretch, like Marlo said. Man, that should be tough as hell on that boy. But I already know D-Lo ride with Andrade. He taking it upon himself to carry that flag. So I know he jumped on the panel so he can give his 2 cents on it. What's going down, bro?
What's good? What's good?
Salute.
Shit, I didn't even know that what y'all talking. I actually just came to the chat and I heard y'all talking about the Haney Prograde thing, and I was kind of trying to. I caught the last little bit of what you were saying about the Tyson.
There you go with that shit. You just fell off and then you came right back like you did last time, man.
Man, you get.
Yeah, I don't know why they be happening, bro.
All right, hold on, let me move. So I'm gonna go on mute. Get to a better spot.
Okay. Yeah, just pick it back up where you left off, man. I'm gonna jump back in the chat a little bit. Eric R said might be like Ellis versus Villa. What Ellis versus Villa this man talking about? You talking about Ennis versus Villa? Maybe that's what he's talking about. Charles D said Andre better show up to prove that shit talk about being ducked. All right, this one thing when he talking about he feel like he being ducked by Golovkin, he being ducked by the Charlos and shit. Benavidez will probably beat all them motherfuckers. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I could definitely see Benavidez beating all them dudes that Andre was talking about ducking. This is another tier in my opinion. But we'll see though. You know, he got to go out there and fight and prove himself and shit. But I still think this is a tall task. It'll be a tall task for down to anybody. Your favorite fighter at 160, 168, it'll be a tough task for him too. I guarantee that. Benavidez ain't no punk out here. Eric Carr said the Rodriguez keep doing that weird ass faint jab. Devin might start teeing off on his ass. But if he piss Rodriguez off, he might run into some shit. All right. Federal 6, salute to you. Said, I like Haney. I hope he don't get hit in the midsection. So you hope you don't get hit in the midsection. Well, you're going against a southpaw, though. You don't really see as much prolific body work with southpaws as often. That's why somebody like Earl Spence is kind of special to me, because he's a southpaw and he go to the body prolifically on your ass. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think Devin Haney got action of going out there boxing on the outside. Hey, what you looking like, D-Lo?
It's looking good. I hope it sounds good.
You sound good. Yeah, go ahead.
No, what I was saying is, when I came to the chat, you know, I just heard when I got to the live stream, you was talking about Haney and Prograde and about the Tyson Fury fight. So I didn't even know about that. I didn't even know you had done touched on the Andre, you know what I'm saying, at that time. But my whole thing about the date situation is, and I know it got to make business sense, but you know, it's not. I don't think they're gonna put them boys on pay-per-view or nothing. So I don't really know, you know, why Tyson Fury's date really matters that much. But then again, I guess it's exposure. You know, if they're gonna try to get as many eyes on the event, whether it's pay-per-view or not, especially with the zone, because they want that subscription base. So I guess that makes sense, because they know a lot of people that aren't subscribed long term or come on for just a monthly subscription if the right fights are made. So I can see the angle there. That makes sense when I think about it.
Okay, now what about Benavidez and Andre?
Yeah, you know I got Andre all day on that. I ain't got no concerns. Other than let me take that back. Other than if Andre had one of them fading spells late, but I can see Andre putting in enough work to where even if he do fade late, I don't know what Benavidez gonna have left. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see how it plays out. I mean, that's the way I'm calling it. But I know it's an uphill battle. That boy been at that weight class. He big for the class. He a linchpin at the class. Andre just got there. I feel like Andre got skills to burn, but like you say, he getting a little long in the tooth. And sometimes when these guys be trying to get certain level of fights and they're not getting them, sometimes them skills start to erode a little bit because you're not fighting the caliber of fighter that could really bring out the best in you. But I'm hoping this is one of them situations where he can rise to the occasion and kind of seize the moment. Like, okay, this one of these guys I've been wanting to get, because Benavidez and Andre ain't something new. This something been talked about for about a year and a half, 2 years now. And actually with Benavidez, people who was out there talking crazy about getting outrageous money to fight Andre. So they see something, or at least they saw something in Andre that they weren't too excited about getting in the ring with. But I'm riding with Andre all the way still.
Southpaw. Hey, he better go get Eminem and walk him out. That's the attitude. He better come. Better lose himself in the moment. Goddamn.
Hey, I ain't mad at y'all for taking skills, pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? That ain't a bad thing to go with. But like you said, this man getting old. He down there with like 35 or something like that. And just like I said, when I think of Navarette, I think of like a future legendary type of fighter. When I think of Andre, I think of a future tragic type of story. Like what could have been type of story. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say that about the guy, because I've been riding with you, D-Lo, all these years, taking up for the man. But I can tell when you went the wrong place at the wrong time. Even when I ride with you anyway, like when I rode with Josh Taylor over Teofimo Lopez, I kept on saying it's the wrong place at the wrong time. But shit, I'm with Taylor gang. Even fucking Crawford and Spence, I kept on saying all this shit that I was worried about for Earl. He was losing the Southpaw, Cedric Sepiev, and he lost to Andre Zamkovo off in the amateurs and shit. He had trouble with the Southpaw in the pros with what's the name of the Southpaw that hurt him, D-Lo?
Larte.
Emmanuel Larte. He had problems with that kind of shit. He coming off a 17-month layoff. I kept on saying all this shit, but I rolled with him anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't hate on Terrence Crawford for all these years and then pick him in the big fight. I just can't do that. But I can tell when you in a bad spot, man. And I see a bad spot for Andre. So, it is what it is. But we'll see. That's why they got to fight the fights, right?
Yeah. And I do want Andre to win also. I just feel like this is just a tough spot for him to be in.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, man. We'll definitely see, though. How you say Subriel Matias is calling for Devin? I ain't surprised when you got a guy that's viewed as a feather-fisted type motherfucker moving up in weight. I guess they looking at him like some fresh meat or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be first in line to fight the man, so I ain't surprised at that at all. Eric Carson never saw Devin put on anything close to a masterclass performance. Yeah, I ain't seen that yet, man. This might be the fight that he have to, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how they are with the judging a lot of the time. They'll award a guy for straight aggression, even if it's not effective aggression. And I guarantee Prograis is going to be the guy that's coming forward in this fight. And it's a chance that he could push Devin back to the perimeter. And Devin going to have to score and look smooth and look cool on the outskirts of the ring. I don't think he's going to be the owner of the center of the ring. I think that's going to be Prograis. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see about that shit. Was somebody about to say something?
I was just going to say, one thing about Haney is, by comparison to a lot of those guys at 140, he does have more of a name than quite a few of them. So I can understand why they gunning for him. Plus, they're looking at bring some notoriety to the division. Guy coming up, he's been undisputed at the division below. Got a little bit of buzz. Just beat Lomachenko, so that makes him, even that much hotter. So I can see why they gunning for him, but like you said, they probably also looking at it like he ain't really stopping nothing down there at 35. Guy kind of walking through his shots in a way. So they probably figure 140, he gonna have to show that he can sit down on his shots and make somebody respect him. And a lot of them guys probably looking at him like, he might be easy pickings. We're figuring if worst case scenario, they might get outboxed, but they can get close enough to land something that might get him out of there. Because, the other thing is that he, a lot of people feel like he don't have the best chin. So, it's a lot there for them to feast, to feel like they got something to feast on with him coming to the division. And then how confident is he if he's trying to hold on to to the WBC belt at 135. Like to me, if you're gonna move up because you've been struggling to make weight, just move up. Don't worry about trying to hold on to no belt, because to me that kind of seemed like you worried about, well, if you go up there and you don't win, you still want to have your belt at the lower division. To me, if you're moving up, leave all that behind and just go on. You know what I'm saying? Put that in the review, move forward, and go ahead and carve out your lane at the next division.
Okay, let me say this to you, bro. You did go out and come back in again, and it seemed like your audio started sounding different. Like it kind of degraded a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sitting in the same spot too, man. I don't know what that is. I look, I even got a new provider, and it's still,
So, it seems like you just have problems on these Mondays and shit too.
Well, it's on the phone. If I get on my laptop, everything kosher, but I don't feel like going to that. But if it mess up again, I'll just go back to the chat though.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say, we called a whole fight on like 2 weeks ago with Crawford and Spence, and didn't have no problems. And then we come back on a Monday and got problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hey, I was in the living room. Yeah, I might need to go in the living room. You're right about it. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was sitting in the living room. It worked perfect in there.
All right, we'll try out the living room one time then, brother. Rod, that's the champ. So I don't know who wins between Prograis and Haney. Oh yeah, it's a toss-up type fight, man. I definitely don't see just no strong lean on either side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking Haney, but I won't be surprised if Prograis go out there and beat him. Right, it's a chance. So I guess I would have to slightly favor Haney. Shit, I'm locked in with you. Eric R said everyone at 140 looking at Devin like he a McDouble bundle out here. Yeah, the Kane says Sublier Matias fight hype interview was hilarious, saying Devin Haney fights like a chicken. Says he wants smoke with Devin Haney. Alhamdulillah. D-Lo, I see you in the chat and shit. Charles D said Matias had cinder blocks for hands. No one at 40 really calling for him. He touched any of them, they will feel it. Absolutely. Shit, he done literally killed a man in the ring. Yeah, he ain't no joke. Eric R said Speedy Ellis versus Villa. Oh, Speedy Ellis. Yeah, that's when I thought Ellis beat him, to be honest, but they gave the majority decision to Villa. Said was Boo Boo might look like going versus David. If he run out of gas and fold to his pressure. I want to see what the ring size looking like. I think it's a little bit different though, because I don't think Villa got no jab. Shit, me and D-Lo, we watched that fight with him and Ennis. We like, the motherfucker don't have no jab. One thing about David Benavidez, he got a jab. You know what I'm saying? It might not be the most technically sound type of jab or none of that shit, but it's a jab that he uses. And it got a little power on it too. It ain't no flickering jab. It's a jab that got a little bit of thump on it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a different type of matchup than Villa. Charles D said Benavidez will have issues early, but Benavidez gas tank is real. That's what I'm thinking too. So that's what Marlo said. He if Benavidez win the fight, I know he's taking Andre, but he's saying that it's a chance that Andre can look good early, and then that gas tank kick in, and then Benavidez coming down the stretch start catching up to him. I can see that. That's kind of like what happened with the Caleb Plant fight. I thought Caleb Plant came out to a pretty strong start in that Benavidez fight, but little by little, Benavidez started chopping wood, and then shit. By the time we got to the championship rounds, he was putting hands on Caleb Plant. It could be something like that, because I know he ain't just the most technically sound type of fighter. You know what I'm saying? A lot of his success is built on being bigger and being in better shape than his opponent. So I can see that. Charles D said Andre got to hit him early and hit him hard. Yeah, you got to set him straight. Like, when you got somebody like that, you can't go out there and just start running. You got to go out there and set them straight early and let them know you can be hurt too. It ain't just about you hurting me. Like, think about how the fights went with Andre Ward when he fought against Kovalev. In the first fight, Andre Ward gave him a lot of respect early in that fight, if y'all remember. And he let Kovalev start going downhill a little bit, like my boy D-Lo like to say. He came downhill a little bit. Then when you go to the rematch, look what happened. Andre Ward stepped to him early, put that hard right hand on his ass. I think it was like the first round he hit him with it and let him know, yeah, you could be hurt tonight too. It ain't just about you with the power. You ain't no lion. Or if you are a lion, I'm the lion tamer tonight. And that's what you got to do. You got to step to him and set him straight. Eric Carr said it would be crazy if Devin at 140 becomes a more solid puncher. Yeah, some people be saying that kind of shit, man. I feel like punchers are punchers no matter what weight class they fight at. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Punches are born. But some people do kind of come into their power a little bit, like thinking about Charlo, Jamel. It was a time where he wasn't getting the type of knockouts that we felt like he should have with his genetics. And then all of a sudden he got with Derrick James and them knockouts started coming. It seemed like they improved the technique of his punches or something. So I can see punches being developed a little bit, but overall, I think punches are born. That's just my opinion on that. The Kane said AT&T and Affinity both garbage in the 404. That's where you at, D-Lo, in the 404?
No, I'm in 864.
Okay. Charles D saying it's a long ass thumping jab. I think it is too. And he throw a lot of punches too. I don't know what his average punches per round is, but I would venture to say that Benavidez throws more punches per round than Andre. What y'all think about that shit? Who got the higher punch output?
I would have to say Benavidez at this stage of his career, he has the higher output. But to your point, an assertive Andre standing his ground and trying to be first is going to be a winning formula for him. At any point in time in the fight where he's trying to wait on David or he's allowing David to come to him on the back foot, that's not going to be advantageous for him to win a decision or possibly go the full 12 rounds.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Okay, Capital Tight said Crawford seems to have come into his power as he moves up. It happens. Man, I always seen Crawford as a pretty good puncher. What weight class was Crawford not a good puncher? I mean, he was stopping motherfuckers. I think one thing that's different about Crawford is that he quit wasting time in that orthodox shit as much. As he moved up to like welterweight, he started being more southpaw. As a matter of fact, on BoxRec, he is officially listed as a southpaw. A lot of people say that he one of the best switch hitters of all time and all that kind of shit. I still don't see that. That man is an outstanding fighter, but I think he's a much better fighter as a southpaw. And as he moved up, I see him switching to the southpaw stance earlier, and he stepped to you and put hard shots on the motherfucker. He ain't wasting time downloading data in the fucking orthodox stance. Now, if he a great switch hitter like everybody say he is, I want to see him start whooping folks' asses as an orthodox fighter. I want to see that shit, because what I've been seeing is an okay orthodox fighter, an outstanding southpaw fighter. That's what I've been seeing.
Hey,
Is somebody about to say something?
I gotta agree with you. That's why when I said it, breaking down the fight, I thought that whoever won in the southpaw stance was gonna be a fighter, and I favored that when I picked Crawford. If Crawford could dominate Spence in the southpaw stance, I think he win the fight, and that's how he was gonna become two-time undisputed. And this, you know what I'm saying, and Spence, beat Spence, get him against the ropes, and dominate him. And that's how he was going to win the fight. But Crawford dictated that out the southpaw stance that he was the better fighter, and that shit impressed me. I liked it that.
Yeah, he did that against Felix Diaz. Felix Diaz was an Olympic gold medalist southpaw. Crawford came out and whooped his ass in the southpaw stance. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely got that in him. He did say some questionable shit talking about he feel like he on top of Mount Rushmore. And I've been, I'm subscribed to the historians like the Boxing Librarian, Hardline Boxing Talk. My man Scrapbook Boxing and shit. So I got a pretty good idea of all-time great fighters and shit. I ain't got to name too many of them. We got Sugar Ray Robinson, we got Harry Greb, we got Sam Langford, we got what's my man that held the belt in 3? Henry Armstrong, Ali, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Crawford as being no Mount Rushmore type fighter, but the Kane, he had kind of cleared it up because he was basically saying he felt like he worked his way on top of the game right now. So instead of Mount Rushmore, we're gonna put him at the top of Mount Everest. You know what I'm saying? He didn't climb the top of the mountain. He deserves to have his I don't want to say flowers, but we're gonna give him his trees or his fish fry, whatever y'all want to say. He deserved to have this shit. He having his victory laps. I give him nothing but respect and credit for that shit. I just can't put him on top of no Mount Rushmore after the Spence win, but it was a outstanding victory and it was dominant. It kind of reminded me of Pacquiao when he fought Marco Antonio Barrera the first time, because Barrera at that time he was ranked number 4 pound for pound, and he went out there and got fucking destroyed by Pacquiao, and that's what that shit reminded me of. You know what I'm saying? So definitely respect to him. That was a lot of y'all might be surprised, but that was actually one of my favorite fight calls I've ever done. That was one of our favorite live streams that me and Marlo done. D-Lo was on the panel with us, scoring a fight and shit like that. Like that shit was fun, man. Like I love boxing more than any boxer. So anytime somebody go out there and give us an outstanding performance, I love to see it. I love boxing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, salute to Crawford on that shit. And let me say one more thing. A lot of people like they kind of comparing him to Mayweather, and like I think that's a fair comparison. Like as far as who will win a fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's no foregone conclusion that Mayweather go out there and beat no fucking Terrence Crawford. I can't say that. Because one of the advantages that Mayweather had was his discipline. We always give him a lot of credit because like he'll go to the club and he'll come out the club running. Well, shit, what about the dude that don't go to the club in the first place? Shit, Crawford is like that. He the motherfucker that's out fishing and hunting. He ain't even trying to go to the goddamn club. He's spending time with his family. He in the gym. He's like a Mayweather. He's the type of dude that stay in shape all the time. He takes his craft very seriously. And when I listen to the instructions in the corner from Bomac, I gotta give him the edge in coaching. I mean, at the very least, he's a better communicator than Floyd Mayweather Sr. or even Roger. You know, Roger gonna go out there and tell you, keep doing what you're doing. Box the motherfucker, man. You box him, man, make it easy. And all that kind of stuff. Bomac go out there and give you like some detailed instructions, and he have some rhyme and reason behind that shit. I posted in the Discord when he was telling Crawford to use his double jab against Benavidez. And he was talking about how he can set up his combinations because he'll try to parry the first jab, but then he'll cover up on the second jab. That's going to allow you to get close and you can open up with your combinations. And that's exactly what happened. So I got to give Bomac credit for being damn near a savant when it comes to giving instructions to his fighters. So I would actually give him the edge over Floyd Mayweather Sr. and Roger Mayweather. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but just looking at the data, that's just what I got to say. You know what I'm saying? But that'll be a hell of a fight. I can't say who will win, but it's a fight worth talking about, and it's a hell of a what's the matchup called? Fantasy matchup.
Well, hell, Trey, since you started it, I actually got I got two different weight classes with two different outcomes. At 135, I don't think Terrence would touch him at 135. Now, as the weight goes up, I think if Terrence were to fight Floyd at 140, his chances are a lot better. At 147, I actually give Terrence the advantage at 147.
Well, that's a good point that you made because one thing that we used to say is that, you know, he was cutting a bunch of weight to get down to 135. And I think that's the reason why he was getting hurt in a couple of fights, like when he fought against Gamboa. I think the weight cut was taken away from his punch resistance. And as he has gone up in weight, I think his punch resistance has improved. And as he has settled into welterweight, I think it's improved even more because, like, look at the fight that he had with Errol Spence. A lot of people, I know that we're looking at this like Crawford won every moment of that fight, but Earl actually landed some good punches in that fight, and Crawford ate that shit. I didn't see him really get buzzed or nothing like that in the fight. So I think his punch resistance is a lot better at 147 than it was in 135. I'm inclined to agree with you. I think I'll take Mayweather at 135, and we definitely can have a talk about 147 because it ain't like Mayweather was a punk at 147, but Crawford is a tough task at 147. And I also like to ask myself this too, like when I look at their opponents, I think that both guys could pretty much beat the other guy's opponents, especially at the time that he fought him. Like Mayweather, he fought De La Hoya when he was like 34 or some shit like that. He fought Cotto when Cotto was like 34, 35, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I know he fought Canelo. Canelo was pretty young. I think you would have to probably give the edge to Crawford in them fights. You know what I'm saying? I think so anyway. And I definitely would have Mayweather beating all the Crawford's opponents. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. But yeah, that's a hell of a fight, hell of a fantasy matchup. Somebody want to add something to it?
No, I agree. I wouldn't even debate on the 47. I just have to see it. You know what I'm saying? I think Crawford is worthy of being in that conversation of a fantasy fight. But hey, I was finna say about that southpaw stand. That's crazy that they changed him to a southpaw in boxer. He is kind of stronger. His naturally strong hand is his jab hand. You know what I'm saying? So that makes him a little bit more dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing that they changed it, but yeah, I like to see it, man.
I mean, it's falling in line though, like with Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, even Shakur Stevenson. These are fighters that's converted fighters. Even Andre, they converted fighters where they fight with a dominant hand in the front. You know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, I don't really see Crawford just hurting guys with straight left hands. As a matter of fact, when he dropped Spence the first time, he came over the top with a straight left hand and he came back with a stiff jab with the right hand. It was a 2-1 combination, not a 1-2, but a 2-1. And you could tell that the right hand was a lot stronger than the left hand. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's player what he doing though. Like I always think that could be a good idea for a guy to do that. I just prefer a motherfucker just to get in the stance and stay there, and that's why I always gave him more credit for switching than other guys because he's not switching back and forth a million times in a round. Once he make a switch and he go to southpaw, for the most part he stays there and he whoops ass.
Yeah, that's his closeout. It was a closeout. Now I actually got to see him have a full fight in the southpaw stand, but that was a closeout. Like he'd get in trouble. Like every time he got in trouble, he switched southpaw. You know what I'm saying? Or every time he struggled, he switched southpaw and he closed it out. But I was gonna say I do want to see him defend his undisputed though. I don't want to see him go 2 divisions in a row and not defend his undisputed title. Man, he gonna have to fight one of those mandatories if he don't get that rematch.
Yeah, I always talk about that too when I call his fights when he was orthodox, and then he'll get touched up a little bit, and then I'll be like, he broke the glass and brought out the southpaw stance. You know what I'm saying? It was an emergency, so he broke the glass and all that kind of shit. But yeah, you right about that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight against Boots Ennis at 147. I mean, Boots is more like Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even just talking about the switch hit. I'm talking about a man that started fighting early. Crawford started boxing when he was 7. That's about the time that Boots Ennis started fighting. He was like 6 or 7. Earl Spence, he started fighting when he was 15. And I talked about that shit before the fight. And when the fight took place, it looked like a guy that started at 15 going against somebody that started when he was 7. That's what the shit looked like to me. So
Derek Bailey, salute, bro.
salute. Yes, I wouldn't mind seeing that shit, man. I like to see Crawford versus Ennis. Even though I'm pretty sure we probably not gonna see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because boxing is really like an old man's game. And the reason that I say that is kind of like you got to prove yourself in your earlier years and you got to build up your profile. And then once you get to a certain age, like around 30 or something, that's when your profile is at a high enough level for you to get them real big fights. You know what I'm saying? Like if you notice, guys, they really fight like people that's close to their age. They you know, a lot of time you ain't gonna see nobody that's like 34, 35 fighting against a 26-year-old. You just don't see that shit. So that's what makes me think we probably won't see that fight. But I would like to see it though.
Hey, I'll be right back, fellas.
All right. And I gotta say too, man, that motherfucker Bob Burnham, he was talking about how Earl ain't good against Southpaw, and he was saying what nobody's saying this shit before the fight. I kind of got offended by that, even though I know Bob Burnham don't know who the fuck I am, but I was one of them people that was talking about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely deliver some quality information on the corner all day long. Charles D says 60, 70 punches for Benavidez per round. Yeah, that's pretty good punch output for that weight. Eric R said, not as much a puncher that creates KOs, but a solid puncher that 140 pounders realize that they can't just walk through, like the perception is now. All right, Charles D said Andre needs to punch with him or use his length. Andre got long ass arms too. He do got some long ass arms. I don't know about punching with him though. I think you need to hit and not get hit. If I look at who got the better chin out them two dudes, I think that Benavidez got the better chin. So if they trading shots, man, I think that's gonna give an advantage to Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? I think Andre needs to hit and not get hit. Charles D said stopped his last 11 right at lefty Crawford. What are you talking about with the right hook? Coming back with the hook. Eric R said Bud and Mayweather had less than 8 or 9 fights at 147. All right, haplotypes are not even a Mount Rushmore at welterweight yet. That's Walcott, Barbados Joe Walcott, Henry Armstrong, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Kid Gavilan, Ted Kid Lewis, and Jack Britton. The boxing marvel. Haplotype said Crawford better at welterweight, Mayweather better at 130. I think I'll go with you on that. He said 135 was close. I don't remember Crawford being at 130 though. I thought Crawford was at 135. Did Crawford fight at 130, y'all? I don't remember him fighting at 130. Haplotype said 140 Crawford, 147 Crawford to me. Science and KOs plus undisputed. All right. Derek Bailey, salute to you, OG. Hey, let me know if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? I know my shit will go to tripping sometime. Can y'all hear me? Let me know in the chat. Can y'all hear me? These motherfuckers on the panel ain't saying shit. Eric R said, what about Mayweather from the Gotti fight versus undisputed champion Bud at 140? All right, my Amazon angel let me know that I can be heard.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I mean, I've been in a noisy place. That's why I'm on mute.
All right, Eric R said, what about Mayweather from the Gotti fight versus undisputed champion Bud at 140? I mean, that'd be a good fight. Yeah, I mean, post 135, I think it's gonna be a good fight, period. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. But actually, I think that Crawford, he just looked a little bit better to me once he got to 147 because he had faster starts. And I saw that in the Jeff Horn fight. I'm talking about the very first fight. I saw him come out to a stronger, more energetic start in the fight. When he was at 140, he got off to a lot of slow starts, like when he fought against Thomas Delorme and shit like that. So I think I would take Mayweather at 140. I don't think Mayweather gonna let him get off to that type of start and then come back in the fight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got Mayweather. Let me scroll down. Charles D said power jabs wore Spence down. Hell yeah, the power jab wore him down, man. He had a reach advantage and he was able to counter that jab. And plus, he had variations on the jab. He was throwing the jab from different launching points. Earl Spence was throwing his jab. They all looked the same. Crawford had some different type of jabs that he was throwing. You could just tell he was just a more scientific, better fighter. So I got to give Crawford a lot of credit, man. I picked against him, a crow like a motherfucker. But like I said, that was one of my favorite fight calls I've ever done because it was just such a great performance. I can't take nothing away from him. You know what I'm saying? And salute to Bo Mac and all them dudes too, because they are working in the best interest of the fighter. They ain't letting ego and shit get in the way. Bo Mac, he don't never waste an opportunity to give shine to his team. And I like that about him. You know what I'm saying? So salute to the motherfucker. They did an outstanding job.
Hey, even the corner was shocking to me. Bo Mac was on point. I liked that shit. The game plan was fit. And then Bud had said some shit like, I don't know if it was sarcastic, but he said he'd been a fan of Spence and I always knew he could beat him. And Bo Mac was saying the same thing. And then when you listen to him in the corner of that fight, they knew everything to do and everything worked perfect. It was crazy, but it was brilliant.
Yeah, people making excuses for Earl Spence. I am proud that we never got into all of that kind of shit. Making excuses for fighters and protecting fighters and all that kind of stuff. The fact of the matter is, in boxing is a accumulation of all the decisions that you make inside and outside the gym. So if you come to the fight and you compromise in some kind of way, you can't blame the other fighter. Like, what the fuck is Crawford supposed to do? Is he supposed to hold your hand and make sure you come to the fight 100%? Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just give this man his credit. I don't like people making all them excuses and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, fuck all that. Just give a man his credit.
Yeah, we don't do that over here. You get your ass whooped, you get your ass whooped. You got in the ring, you was 100%.
Yeah, you see how I call the fight, no mercy. You know what I'm saying? Shit, that's why we get respect there, because we gonna call that bitch how we call it no matter what. Charles D says, plus Spence didn't have experience versus Southpaw. I mean, the thing is, man, like he probably didn't have a lot of experience because they probably kept him away from Southpaws, because even in the amateurs, he was losing the Southpaws. Like when he fought against Andre Zamkovoy, which is a tough Southpaw, he lost. When he fought against Serek Sepiev, another tough Southpaw, he lost. And these are decorated Southpaws with both of them are like 5s and 4.5s on my scale. They was fighting early at the Olympics and the AIBA World Championships, and they beat the man. And then he turned pro. They put him in with Emmanuel Larte early. When Earl had like 8 fights, he went out there and got buzzed against Emmanuel Larte, and he really didn't fight many Southpaws after that. The closest to a Southpaw that I saw him fight was against Chris Van Heerden. And I kept on saying in the 5th and the 6th round, when Chris Van Heerden was switching Southpaw and he was stepping too early, he was having a measure of success. He still got his ass whooped overall. That's what everybody kept telling me. Well, who won? Well, who won? Earl did win the fight, but I still saw some shit to be concerned about. And that's why I kept on speaking on that shit going into the fight. You know what I'm saying? I still roll with my dog. You know what I'm saying? They say dance with the motherfucker that brought you. So I went on the road with him. And plus, at the same time, I've been a Crawford hater for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I call myself that. Really, I'm just an analyst. That's all I do. I analyze boxing. That's why it was so easy for me to give the man credit when it was time to give it to him. But I'm not about to criticize the man all these years and then turn around and pick him. Like, I'm not about to do that shit. That's just my pride or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't had no problem giving him his props, though, at all. Derek Beatty said, no, I think he started at 135. Okay, that's what I thought. I heard y'all saying that y'all can hear me. I definitely appreciate that. Charles D said Mayweather at 35 versus Crawford at 35. Floyd all day. Yeah, I'm taking Floyd with you at 35. I'm going to take him at 142. But when we get to 147, it's debatable, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I would take both of those guys over the other person's opponents, especially at the time that they fought them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely a debate worth having. Eric Carr said, yeah, Bud completely grew into 147 rather quickly. Yep. And it also it kind of make you think like, damn, they might have fucked up by letting him grow into the goddamn division. When he came up and he was talking about he wanted to fight, that might have been the time to fight him. They should have went on ahead and clipped his wings before he, you know what I'm saying, grew into a full-fledged welterweight. But you know, you live and you learn. That shit turned into an ass whooping. It wasn't even a chess match. Charlie said 147 is a chess match, yeah. Eric Carr said, and my guy said it was going to be a one-sided ass whooping, so we got to take that. Yep. And another thing too, like he came off a 17-month layoff. I be talking about this shit all the time. I'm always talking about layoffs, but I can't even give him that because he said that he don't give a damn about no layoff. He said that he want the big fights. He don't want no tune-up. He want the big fight, so we can't even give him the layoff. It is what it is. You just gonna have to hold your L. But props to him because he seems to be holding his L and not making a bunch of excuses. You know what I'm saying? So we'll give him credit on that, and we'll also give him credit for making the fight. They went out there and gave us a big fight, a big event, something to talk about. So I'm gonna give credit to both of them. I'm gonna give credit to Crawford for making the fight in his performance, and I'm gonna give Earl Spence credit for putting it all on the line, even when it was probably not in his best interest coming off a 17-month layoff. He gave us the fight, took his loss like a man. So I'm gonna give props to both of them.
Ernest Davis, salute, bro. Hell yeah, man. Especially I Earl Spence though, because I like how he didn't make no excuses and shit. I like how he saluted Bud, gave him his props and shit, and went out and what he did afterwards. But Bud had a hell of a celebration going on out there in Nebraska, though. I tell you that.
He having a victory. Him and his fans having a victory lap too.
Hey, man, this motherfucker was out there for Bud, boy. I said, whoa. Big win though. So you can't hate on him, man. I can't hate on him. Can't find myself to hate on him. All I can picture is them skills that he put down. And a lot of motherfuckers should appreciate that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what boxing is about. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really about. It ain't like wrestling, man. This shit ain't scripted. You know what I mean? What a motherfucker to get his O took any given night if he don't come in that motherfucker prepared.
All day long. Salute to Big E. That's Big Ernest Davis. Salute to you, OG. Yeah, man. We ate our crow. After the fight, we stayed on for like another hour and a half and shit. Ate our crow. Gave credit where it's due. The next day, me and Eric R, we both ate crow, but we was up in the Discord with all the Crawford fans and shit while they take their victory lap. We ain't running high. They ain't have to say with me and Trey X, he must be on suicide watch. Nah, nigga, wasn't no suicide watch for me. I'm up in the mix. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it too, I was kind of surprised, but after that fight, ain't nobody even come tell us I told you so. It seemed like everybody disrespected the shit. I had lost a bet to my boy Napoleon. I sent him his little money. That motherfucker doubled it up and sent it back to me. Talking about, oh, man, this for you, man. Salute to your fight call that you did and all that kind of shit. So, you know, that's one
That's what's
thing.
up.
That's one thing about when you got to eat crow. Like we ain't no front runners. I do like to go out there and get my picks right and serve crow and talk shit. But when we get them wrong, that also gives us an opportunity to show how we handle the loss. You know what I'm saying? We handle that shit like men. We ain't making no excuses. We ain't talking about no loaded gloves. We ain't talking about no dehydration. We ain't talking about none of that. We just eating crow and give them props where they do. So I am glad we got a chance to show that part of the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Hey Trey,
Yes,
Marty,
sir.
all right.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
sound good.
Now I was gonna say, you know, one thing about that, you know, you said, you know, take that loss and eat crow. You know, I noticed that some of these folks who run around here doing the eulogy live streams and making a bunch of excuses, them some of the same one that when they jumped into Champ Ross, it didn't go how they thought it was gonna go. They got right back out of it.
Yeah, you got to be tough to stay up in that champ roast. That shit ain't made for the faint of heart. You know
Hey,
what
I
I'm saying?
heard you say something that was so damn true. I went to the Discord ready to get my licking, and ain't nobody said shit. And I sure wasn't finna push it.
I was really,
all these years. I'm like, all these years, and nobody gonna sit up here and talk their shit. All right.
yeah, I was really talking about in our comment section on the video. I thought we was gonna have some crows served in the comment section. Nigga, it was not one person off in there with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I guess it's really kind of hard when we immediately just give you credit. And then, like I said, I called the fight like I always call fights. Uh, it is what it is. So we gave the motherfucker credit. What can you say?
Well,
And that's
the other thing about that, Trey, is that y'all have a panel that welcome everybody's opinion. So it's not like y'all pushing a narrative every live stream about how somebody's superior to somebody else and how somebody ain't nothing and all that. So when you ain't putting it out there like that, you don't have a whole bunch of people just waiting on you to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm on here all the time. We have had a fundamental, especially me and Marlo, we have had a fundamental difference in how we felt about Spence versus Crawford all these years. But it ain't never been no time where I couldn't come on there and say my piece, and he couldn't say what he had to say to me. And you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that kind of that you so and y'all don't know nothing about boxing and all that. You know what I'm saying? But whereas in a lot of other places, if you got an opinion that anything different from what's being pushed, it ain't finna stand.
Yeah, you got knocked off again. We just wait for you to come back when you get knocked off. Now you know.
God dog.
we know you're gonna come back. You know.
yeah. But yeah, but
Go
yeah,
ahead.
if you ain't putting that energy out, you ain't gonna get it back. You know what I'm saying? So the way I look at it is that, you know what I'm saying, this channel is one of the few channels that, you know, you guys have your hard opinions on certain fighters, but it's never personal and it's never nothing malice behind it. And the outcome is the outcome. There's never no shady business with the outcomes in terms of what you see and what we see. So that's why you're not gonna get that kind of response.
Yeah. And
Hey,
like I
that's
said, man, I genuinely enjoyed that shit. What you about to say, Marlo?
I was gonna say that makes sense though, because we have been going back and forth all these years. It wasn't like a motherfucker just talking shit. You know what I'm saying? We've been sharing, breaking down the fights with each other. You know what I mean? Not trying to and shit on each other's opinion or none of that shit. It was more like wait and see, wait and see. That's why I thought it was just gonna be some "I told you so" moments, but shit, we didn't. I guess we took that away by telling them they told us so though. But we did eat our crow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And gave them their props. So that was kind of like a hell of a moment for motherfuckers. That was probably enough for everybody.
Yeah, and then at the same time, it was really like a joyous live stream for me. Like I put that up there. Like a lot of people might not like this, but I put that up there with Wilder versus Fury too. That was another one of my favorites. I know our guy got his ass kicked, but it's just one of my favorites. I like when them emotions are high like that. And this one right here with the performance that Crawford had, that was one of my favorite fight calls and live streams. I done went back and watched the fight several times. I know a lot of people that was picking against Crawford, they probably just want to stay away from that fight as much as they can. They ain't trying to see no highlights or none of that shit. But I love boxing, man. I love technique. I love good instructions in the corner. I love preparation. I love all that shit. So this was a good fight to go back and watch. You know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed that shit, man. DeCane said there was no time where Earl wouldn't have gotten smoked by Bud. Credit to Earl for marching himself to the cross, though. That's Jesus level shit. I think that's debatable, though. I think he would look more. I think he would at least be more competitive if he wasn't coming off a 17-month layoff. I'm not gonna give him that excuse for why he lost the fight, but just knowing boxing, I know that if you coming off a fucking 17-month layoff, you're not gonna be at your best. He was talking about his timing and all that kind of shit. I think that's pretty much what he was trying to allude to without saying it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're coming off a layoff, your timing ain't the best. I'm not saying he would have won, but what I'm saying is I think he would have at least been more competitive in the fight. And also, I think he would have been more competitive if he would have caught Crawford when he first came up. If he would have fought him then instead of letting him grow into the weight class, I think he would have been more competitive. I'm not saying he would have won, but I think he would have been more competitive though.
Mike check.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the same thing I've been saying, for years, is that I thought he should have caught Crawford when he first came up. He had a better chance at winning. Just because, the guy's new to the division. He hadn't gotten used to taking those shots. He hadn't got used to a guy that size and leaning on him and all that stuff. But, they played it the way they played it, and it worked out, as far as they're concerned. I hear both of them saying they feel like the fight happened at the right time. So for me as a fan, if they happy with it, they like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm done talking about it. Should have happened back whenever. It happened when it happened. We got the result we got. And you know what I'm saying? They got an opportunity to go back and do it again, and we'll see what happened that time.
Yeah, I ain't trying to make no excuse for him or complain about the fight or nothing like that. I was just saying, like, without variables, like a long layoff and shit like that, I think that the fight could have been more competitive. Because, like I said, Earl did land some punches in the fight. It ain't like he ain't laying no punches out here. You know what I'm saying? Crawford just ate them hoes. He took them well. But Earl, he was in the fight. I was comparing the fight after the fight. I was comparing it to Gotti versus Mayweather. But when I went back and watched the fight again, Earl was a lot more competitive than Gotti was against Mayweather.
Yeah, I feel like he was a lot more live. Even though, you know what I'm saying, even though he wasn't exactly he wasn't winning the rounds, but he was there. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like even though that Crawford had some dominant rounds, I felt like Errol made his presence felt. And I also felt like that played a part in why Crawford didn't really just go for the gusto at times. He kind of, he would kind of pull back a little bit because he felt he could probably feel that, Errol still was dangerous. But, the people who make excuses that like Errol Spence was in there just a, drunken monkey from the first round to the end, or at least from that knockdown on. And when I looked at it, man, I just don't see it that way. I felt like the dude was there. And I remember watching the fight and him throwing some shots. And I'm like, man, I hope we don't, because I pull him Crawford. So I'm like, I hope he don't turn the fight around with one shot. But I felt like he was there, but Crawford hadn't took a lot out of him. So, of course, them shots didn't have what they would have had on him had he not taken some of the punishment he had taken.
Yeah, and I gave Earl 2 rounds in that fight. I gave him the first round. Most people gave him the first round, including you on your scorecard when we were scoring the fight.
In
And
the
I
first
also,
round for sure. Yeah.
yeah, we gave him the first round, and I also gave him the third round because Crawford had a big second round, and it seemed like Earl wanted to come get his get back in that third round, and I gave him that round. A lot of people in the chat gave him that round too. I remember you gave it to Crawford.
Yeah, I
but
gave it to Crawford, but it was close. It was a close round. The fourth round, I think, yeah, I felt like Crawford had a big fourth round, but that third round was definitely one that could have went either way. I just like the work Crawford did a little bit better, but I wouldn't have argued with anybody if they went the other way on that one.
Yeah, that was a debatable round. But yeah, the fourth round is when Crawford started really taking over. You know what I'm saying? Let me get in the chat a little bit. Eric Carson, I love that he didn't make any excuses and ended the fight on his feet. He couldn't do shit else, but he lost like a warrior that night. Yeah, he ain't go out like no punk. You know what I'm saying? And I do think he deserves some credit for the work he did do. Like some people making it seem like he lost every moment of the fight, and that's not what took place. He had some moments, you know what I'm saying? It just wasn't enough of them. He was in there with a vastly superior technician that night. You know what I'm saying? Eric Carson, yeah, all our Bud brothers are class acts. Yeah, them motherfuckers all right. Charles D said that's real shit. Niggas be looking for an out. Yeah. Square business, especially when it comes to that Channel Ross. I thought I smelled a goat in this motherfucker. What's up, bro? A broken clock is right twice a day, huh, man?
Yeah, Fenici, salute, bro.
Hey, you ain't lying on that shit, because El Fenici, man, when I saw him pick Crawford, I was like, oh, yes, we in business.
Yeah, I was feeling good about myself when I seen that shit, boy. A broken clock right twice a day. You say shalom to the block in the corner. Salute. Salute to you, brother. Charles D said, when you're a fan of the sport, the backlash is different because you're not locked into a fight. Yeah, absolutely. He said, eat your bird and move on to the next. Yep, for sure. We got some good fights. I'm looking forward to the Bam Rodriguez fight versus the Sonny Edwards kid. That's gonna be the big fight of this year, where neither one of the fighters are coming off a long layoff. That's the reason why I love it so much. I'm a big fan of Bam Rodriguez anyway. I was telling Hyphy like a few months back that Bam Rodriguez is actually my favorite fighter from Texas. I just love skills. He a 4.5 on my scale. He went to the junior AIBA World Championships and he won silver. You know what I'm saying? I think Robert Garcia doing a great job with him. I remember when I first saw him go out there and fight Carlos Quadras, I was like, man, I don't know. He went out there and schooled Quadras. Then he went out there and stopped Soron Visa, motherfucking ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Bam, man. I know some people might not like him as much as I do, but I just love his skills. Like when I first saw him fight, I couldn't stop watching him. Before I knew it, I had watched all the film that was available on YouTube. And the shit just flew by because I really enjoyed looking at the skill set. So I'm looking forward to that fight. I'm taking Bam all day, even though I know that Sonny Edwards is a natural fighter. He's a mean kid. He ain't got the most power, but he's a real fighter. And that's what's making this a big fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to that shit. Who y'all got in the Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards fight? I think it's gonna be December the 16th.
Hey, I'll say this, Trey. That's a fight that some of us been asking for a minute. We've been wanting to see this fight. So I'm like a kid in the candy store when this fight got announced. I've been wanting to see this fight because I've been matching these two for a minute now, and it's finally happening. Um, a lot of it depends on, whether Bam can really cut off the ring effectively against Sonny Edwards, because Sonny Edwards, his back foot game and his lateral movement is a problem. Um, and if Bam can't solve that puzzle, he's going to have issues trying to win a decision. So, but yeah, I like Bam Rodriguez. He's a fighter that I never get tired of watching him fight because I love the skill set. I love what he brings to the table. I think for skill, I think he's a better skill fighter. But I just feel like Sonny has some things that can cause Bam problems in his fight, and being his movement being one.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to give a take on that fight?
I mean, I like the fight. I think for me, just of course, it's a good ways out. But I think even though Sonny Edwards does move well, I think that one of the things about the fighting Bam Rodriguez is I think when they do have exchanges and when they do have, you know, when there is action, I think Bam will probably get the better of the action. And I think if Sonny focuses too much on trying to be an outboxer, he may end up finding himself in a situation where he's not doing enough to win the rounds. But at the same time, if he risks engaging too much, is a chance that Bam could hurt him and change the fight that way. So I look at it, you know, to me, just looking at it without really dissecting it and just upon first glance, I think I see more past the victory for Bam. Just looking at it, I think he should be favored. I don't know if he is or isn't, and I think if I had to make a choice right now, who I would go with, I would pick Bam to win the fight. So I'm kind of sticking with that just for now without really like going into it. But I really think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be entertaining, and I think it's going to be one of those fights that you know, it may even be good enough that we might want to see it again.
Absolutely, and Bam is facing a little bit of adversity, coming off a broken jaw going into the fight. So we're gonna see how that play out.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be an excellent fight. I'm gonna stick with my scale. I got a straight 4.5 world beater going against like a 3 or a 3.5. I bucked my damn scale last week on the champ Ross with that damn Travion Martin when he fought against Gabriel Maestre. Maestre a straight 4.5 on the scale. He going against Marshall, who was a 2 on the scale, somebody that only fought on the regional level. And he went out there and stopped that motherfucker in 2 rounds. And I picked Marshall like a dumbass. Yeah, man, because you know, Gabriel Maestre, yeah, he done had problems when he fought people like Michael Fox and shit like that. So I was thinking that, you know, he might not be that good. He's 37 years old. So I said, man, I hate to do it, but I got to buck my scale this week. They had Marshall as an 8-1 favorite. So I was like, maybe they see it for what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the favorite. Man, motherfucker went out there and got stopped in 2 rounds.
Hey, did you see what Michael Fox had to say?
Nah, what'd he say?
He said I guess I'm the only one. He did had a screenshot of him dropping Maestre. He said, I guess I'm the only one that can beat this guy. Espinoza, give me that rematch.
yeah.
What you hey, I got a question. Do you guys think that they might have ruined Marshall with putting him in there against this guy? Because
Lala D thinks so.
I don't know if this was a smart matchmaking on their part for doing that.
Yeah, Napoleon was hitting me up on Discord talking about, man, I think they putting the kid in too early. And I pretty much agree with him on that shit, especially being a 2. He ain't never even fought on the national level. So not let alone the international level. This man only fought on the regional level. And then they put him in there with a goddamn 4.5 type motherfucker. So yeah, they might have ruined that motherfucker, man. At least ruined his confidence. How the fuck you gonna feel good about yourself? You done went out there and got embarrassed in front of the world in 2 rounds. Damn near sent to the hospital in 2 rounds. They might have ruined him, man. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see how much mental fortitude he got to come back with something, if he can.
Right, hope his confidence didn't get snatched.
Yeah, because he might have got his soul snatched out his ass like Shane's son.
He might be like Lubin. He might be hard boiled and feel like hey, I just had a bad night. You're gonna have to show me every time.
Yeah. Okay. But go ahead, bro.
But I was gonna say that that Edwards Bam fight, man, that's gonna be a tough fight for Bam though. I think Edwards a tough motherfucker, and you know what I'm saying, coming off that broken jaw, because I didn't even know that. This probably gonna be a test, because Edwards a decent counter puncher though, right?
Yeah, he can move and groove. He can counter punch. He can get out first too. He pretty mean. He a natural fighter. That's what I see when I see him. He's a natural fighter. He comes across as somebody that knew how to fight before he learned how to box.
And Bam get a lot of his problems get caught coming in, especially clean counter punching. But I like Bam in the fight, man. I think he might even put Everett to the canvas and potentially get a motherfucking stoppage on the foot though, the referee type of call. But depending on if he get caught against the ropes, if Bam can cut the ring off and get him in one of those positions. But I think I would pick Bam Rodriguez.
Yeah, I like them. Yeah, I like them angles. Yeah, I like them angles on the inside that he used. I like the misdirection, looking high, going low, looking low, coming up high, and then he step off the track on your ass. He don't just sit there and admire his work. Like he be on the move on the inside, kind of like a Lomachenko, but not quite as much active footwork as Lomachenko. But the way he get off to the sides on them angles and shit, it just kind of remind me of that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, he one of my favorite fighters overall. He been my favorite fighter from Texas just based on skills. You know what I'm saying? Because I like Earl Spence, but when we would talk about him, I would always give his skill set like a B minus. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Bam Rodriguez, I'm looking at like an A minus. So yeah, it just is what it is. Was somebody about to say something?
Yeah, speaking of misdirection, I ain't get I don't think I heard Joseph Brown take on the AJ Helenius fight, man. I liked it, that misdirection. He stabbed to the body twice, fainted, and then came back with that, what was it, overhand or hook? I think it was an overhand right.
Yeah, right here.
That shit was clean as a motherfucker, man.
That's what Anui did against. That's what Anui did against Cool Boy. Touched him with the jab down low and came upstairs with that hard right hand and hurt the motherfucker. It was kind of like a similar type of situation with AJ and Helenius, but I didn't see the whole fight though, so I can't really just speak on it.
Hey, what you thought about that, Jay Brown? Did you see it?
I think he at work, so he might be busy. We are coming. We
seen.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of it either, man. I was looking at the link that whoever had dropped, and it was like, and I couldn't hear it. I was just looking at it, but I actually had put my phone down and came back and picked the phone back up and seen AJ celebrate. And so I did see it on the replay, but I didn't see it in real time when it first happened. Like he caught it right on the point of the chin, but I didn't really pay attention to what set it up. But it was a pretty shot. Yeah, probably one of the best shots I've seen AJ land in a long time.
Yeah.
Champ Ross, salute, bro. It was some jabs and some feints.
Champ Ross, salute. I forgot the fight that I did get a chance to see was Philip Ergovich versus Dempsey McKean. That's what I was watching. McKean showed that he was a pretty good athlete for a heavyweight and shit. He just got caught late in the fight, but he showed me something though. I was kind of impressed with McKean. Coming out that southpaw stance. That motherfucker Govich ain't got a good gas tank. Once he started getting tired, he seemed like a sporadic type of explosive type motherfucker, but I don't know about it, Govich.
Was he up on the cards when he stopped him?
Yeah, he was up on the cards. Yeah, he was up.
Okay, he was winning anyway. All right.
Yeah, it was competitive because McKean was fighting, you know what I'm saying, but he was up in the fight by like a slight margin or something. You might can give him 6-5 or maybe 7-4 or some shit like that.
McKean's southpaw, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Former rugby player, and he showed that athleticism in the fight.
Probably showed some toughness too, didn't
he? Oh yeah, he showed some toughness. He might could have finished the fight. Well, I can't say that because when he took that right hand and the referee was trying to give him a 8 count, that motherfucker was, I don't know what kind of walk he was doing back to the corner. You know
I got to go back and watch that.
He tough though. You know what I'm saying? He just took a hell of a right hand, man. Yeah, McKean showed something though. He was coming off a layoff too. He hadn't fought since last September. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, them guys have a hard time getting fights, man. Them heavyweight southpaw.
Yeah. Let me jump in the chat, man. Cause me, Marlo, we done been on this shit past the hour and a half. I know you probably want to shut this shit down.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and catch up in the chat, man. We're gonna go and get up out of here. L said, well, I told you so, motherfucker. Broken clock right twice a day. This ghost smelling motherfucker El Fenici. He said, I honestly think we saw the best version of Bud against the worst version of EJ. I mean, I guess so, but one thing I will say, I agree with you on the best version of Crawford. He looked his best in the biggest fight of his career, and there's something to be said about that. You know what I'm saying? Salute to him. Charles D said Crawford killed all this competition was ass because Bud made him look below average. Yeah, I'm one of them people that used to get on him about the strength of schedule, being considered the number 1 pound for pound fighter after you just beat Julius and Dongo and all that kind of shit. But, he put it to rest, like you said. Give him credit. A motherfucker hell of a fighter. Eric R said that was one night when we got to see what we all thought Bud was. Just hate to see it have to happen to Earl on that night. Bud was like Bruce Leroy with the glow. Charles D said when Bud ate that left and shoved off Spence, I was like, okay, Bud can take his shots. Yep, that was a bad sign because I remember when Earl when he landed that bitch and he turned it over too. I was like, Crawford ate that motherfucker though. AL said EJ know he got whooped and had no excuses. EJ showed a little smile because he knew he was off his game. AL said EJ should have never ran that mountain. Yeah, I heard about that shit. I think the 17-month layoff is more of a factor than that shit. You got to be sharp in the ring. Charles D said, wow, you gave EJ the third? Yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah, Marlo gave him the third. It was people in the chat that gave him the third. Yeah, I gave him the third. He said I only gave EJ round one. I mean, even D-Lo just said that third round was debatable. I think it was. Shit, he was stepping to him. He was very aggressive in that round. It's like he tried to win it off straight aggression, but it was still times in the round where Crawford was sharpshooting. But I gave Earl Spence a close round. AL said EJ just rushed his work. He was pressed. He said, peace, fam. I got to go get it. All right, salute to you, brother. Eric also said, yeah, I learned about Bam from Trey X. I guess he took Cobra's place as his new prospect. I can't really call him a prospect, though. Shit, he was a prospect when he was going out there fighting against Carlos Quadras and shit. Yeah, he's pretty bona fide now, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Christopher Cole, he let me down big time, even though he did go out there and get a close decision over that Valenzuela kid. Ms. Auburn Brown said, please like the video if you haven't. We definitely would appreciate that. Charles D said Edwards can take a shot too. He said Edwards has a mean forehead out there. Derek Bates, I think everyone picked Marshall. Yeah, that was fucking stupid, man. That was a good bet for us to take too, man. We got a fucking 4.5 going against a 2. And I go out there and pick the 2. But I'm gonna tell you what messed me up because I looked at film and I was looking at Marshall jab. He had a shotgun jab. And I was like, that might be problems for Maestre. You know what I'm saying? But man, fuck all that shit. Go with the scale. That's what's gonna get you to win. You know what I'm talking about? Go with the scale. 4.5 against a 2. Salute to Chan Ross in the building. Player from the Himalaya. He said, what you guys think about the overtime boxing on the zone on Friday nights? Looks like they have some solid prospect matchups on paper. I can't speak on the zone, bro. We don't fuck with the zone ever since we got that copyright strike when Canelo was fighting against Kovalev. We ain't fuck with him since. My man, the Kane, he had a membership over there and he let me use his information so I could watch for free. But when they jacked up the price, he said, man, fuck them motherfuckers and dropped that shit. So I ain't been watching unless I can get a link from my man Yasa. I'll get a link from him or something, you know what I'm saying? But shit, outside of that, I ain't got much to say about the zone. I do like the highlights that they give, though. That's one thing. They give very good highlights on YouTube after the fights are complete. So a lot of the time when I miss the fights, I still feel like I done watched the fight because I done seen them extensive replays. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, fuck the zone overall, though. We don't fuck with them. But yeah, we done been on, man. We normally like to come on for like an hour or something like that. We pushing on an hour and 45 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and shut it down. You want to go first, D-Lo?
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Good chopping it up with y'all, and hope everybody have a good rest of their week. Enjoy the boxing this weekend.
Already. What about you, Joseph Brown? You might be over there working or something, man. But definitely appreciate everybody coming through. Shit, I don't even know what we got this weekend. I don't think we got no big fights and nothing like that. We wanted to call the Navarette versus Oscar Valdez fight, but I got some family shit to take care of and stuff like that. So we couldn't call that, but we definitely gonna come back on some of these fights that's coming up. It was one that I was looking at earlier. It's gonna be next month on like the 26th or some shit like that I was looking at. I can't remember, man. It'll slip my mind. But whenever we get these big fights, we gonna call them hoes though. But salute to everybody, man. Definitely appreciate y'all coming through. We ain't gonna talk you to death.
Most definitely. Appreciate you, bro. You always welcome, D-Lo. Y'all know y'all welcome on these open panels.
Hold on, bro. The what's that guy that Shakur beat? Alberto Lopez or some shit like that. He fighting against that the brother of the girl that Shakur used to date. What's his name?
Joette.
Joet Gonzalez versus Luis Alberto Lopez. That's the fight that I want to call. That's going to be a very good fight. Well, yeah, my bad on that. Go ahead.
It's all good. But shit, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all opinions, y'all thoughts, just coming to hang out, supporting us, rocking with us, man. We definitely gonna be back on the next one. This weekend ain't nothing but the zone fight, so y'all know we ain't rocking with them. So we're gonna be back on the next one, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Till next time, don't forget to tell them haters and trolls, the fuck out my gym.
You heard him.
Yeah.
Yeah.